Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Mindful LCA. Today we have
Else,
a dating game show. Why are you struggling so much with your dating?
it has nothing to do with dating.
Well,
It has
yeah,
nothing to do with
well, your secure attachment. That's
yes.
what we're talking about in all actuality. I just try to be funny. But yeah, we're gonna talk about the the struggle of becoming more securely attached. How's that?
¿Cómo estás?
I just fucking had a bowl of beans and coffee with cheese. So I'm chilling. What else?
That sounds yummy.
¿Qué más le pido a la vida y un pinche cafecito frío like always?
Eso. Mine is hot.
So I'm
Mine is
chilling.
hot. But I just had breakfast too. Because we just recorded an episode and I like showered and had breakfast. Now I have my coffee. So I told you I was tired earlier. I'm still tired.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm feeling more refreshed. My face is not as poofy anymore. So Um, yes. The reason why, literally, the reason why we're having this episode is because we just recorded the attachment episode in Spanish. So then I went into the shower, and when you shower, you like think about life. So then I was thinking about like, okay, on the episode, I'm talking about, these are things that I became aware of. Like I'm anxiously attached, and I'm working on being more securely attached and in the shower I'm like my I don't know if it's my negative view of self or like, but there was this little question of like, but are you really more securely attached now, Norma? And I was just like, whoa, like where the fuck did this question come from? um and so then I started, I guess, sitting with it of like, what am I doing differently that tells me that I am in fact um more towards the secure attachment rather than so anxious. So I th- I think the awareness part is there.
The
You're
fact that
going
we're
like,
having the fact that we're having this conversation means that you are aware and that you're in your way to doing it. That's enough.
okay, so episode's over.
No, no, no. But I mean, that's what tells you that you're in the path of the shit and you're better. And is proof that you are working on it. And maybe you're not the where you want to be, but maybe you're there. Just the fact that this is a conversation.
Yeah, because I was texting somebody and they didn't like reply. We were having conversation back and forth, and then they stopped replying. Right. So then like the anxiety came about of like, why are they not replying type of thing. So then I became aware of that and I was like, hold on, hold your horses. It's okay if they don't text you back. Like it is okay. Like, no, don't stress about it. So that's the
Mhm,
part where I'm struggling a bit because the anxiety is still there. It still comes about when maybe I don't hear back from a person right away.
mhm,
Um, the awareness piece, I'm able to catch it and I'm able to challenge because like my inner voice would be like, they don't want to talk to you, or you're not important, you're not a priority, like all of those things. So I do tell myself like, hold on, like they have a life and it's okay if they don't text you all the time. Like it is okay. um and still a little bit of that anxiety, like the physical anxiety of like checking my phone is still there. So that's the part where I'm like, that made me question when I went into the shower of, is am I actually more securely attached now or not? I just have the awareness that I have anxious attachment, but I have not made that little like loop to loop or little jump over to the to the secure side. So that's a little bit of like what I'm struggling with right now.
You know what's gonna come out of my mouth? Your favorite word,
I don't even know what my favorite word is, but
the one
oh
that
my
you hate
god, are
the
you gonna
most to hear.
fucking say accepted? Are you, if you say, I swear to God, if you say accepted, I'm gonna lose my shit. My
That's
anxious
where you.
attachment protections will fucking come out. Are you gonna say that?
That's where you're at, and I think, like I told you, the fact that you're aware and the fact that you're doing all this, the practice of you wanting to change the behavior is proof that you're growing. Now, I think this is gonna be your struggle for the rest of your life. Yeah. Is it gonna be my struggle for the rest of my life? Yes. Are we gonna get better every day? Yes, because it's the practice of it that makes us better. Because it's gonna take a lot of effort to undo this shit and be like, oh, I'm done and I'm secure now and I healed. Like I don't think there's such such thing as to be like, oh, I'm fully healed. I'm like, you're full of shit. If you ever tell yourself I'm fully healed, that means you haven't looked deep enough because you could always continue to get better or to heal. So it's just literally accepting it. And also I see that shit of like, why are you, who told you this fucking standard of shit, like who taught you that, or why are you getting this idea of wanting to, why are you being so hard on yourself, why are you having such a negative idea of it. And more than anything is like, I think of accepting where you're at right now, being okay with that and who you are and the good and the bad of those things, and understanding that that's why it's practice, like Pablo said, and why we continue to do it on the regular basis, why we continue to do it every day. I don't think you'll reach a moment where you say, oh, I'm secure now, but you're working towards it. And the fact that you're questioning it, the fact that you have awareness, the fact that you think, you stop and think and tell yourself, hey, it's okay, doesn't mean that they're not texting back because of something. They have their life, and maybe there are a million reasons why. Don't take it personal. That is you becoming secure. That's what a secure person does. That's what it sounds like in our head.
So
That's what it should be like.
okay, so I if there is any securely attached human out there that's never really struggled with anxious attachment or avoidance attachment, are these things that they don't struggle with at all? Because this in my head, I think in my head what I would want,
Hmm.
my idea, my sunshine and rainbows, unicorns and whatever of what a securely attached person is those thoughts don't even come into their head of like somebody you're texting back and forth and the text doesn't come, like there's no response, and they're
Hmm.
like they go on about their day and they don't even think about that.
Hmm.
That's what I think a securely attached person is. So is that too much of a fantasy for me to be thinking about, like that
If
that would be like
I
my
get a little
end
bit,
goal?
if we're talking about, I'm very much, it's funny because we've always brought up cups and water. If you have a cup that's never broken and it holds water, the water doesn't leak. That's a cup. If a cup is broken and you put it back together and the water no leaking, does it have a different value than the one that never fucking broke before?
I
One of them that's just
dislike you
aware
a
of that.
lot right now. Okay, I am about to walk out that door because andas con todo. That coffee had something with you. Eh,
Right? What I'm trying to get you is that the end thing is the same thing.
I
You may
understand
not. You
that, which is why it's bothering me.
oh, okay? As in, like, what's the difference between one that never broke
I know.
versus one that is
I
broken
completely
and is
understood
put
what you said.
together?
I
Uh
I
huh.
I get it.
Uh huh.
That is why it's bothering me because I completely understood what you meant.
Oh.
And maybe and okay, maybe that's exactly what I need to reframe. Lo que te choca te checa, right? So it's like it's hitting me some type of way. So then maybe that's exactly where the work lies. Um okay.
The perfection thing, right? The whole shit of that. And yes, I just had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and this was interesting because it's a bunch of dudes and we don't really talk about emotion too much.
Hold on. I'm not listening to you right now. Something is
Okay.
happening.
Take your
Something is
time. Thank you
happening.
for letting me know too, because I tend to rush and not give
Yeah.
attention to these moments.
Yes. And seeing this, okay,
You
this is growth. This is growth. because I think in other instances, like there is like a caretaker part of me too, where I'm like, it's okay, like we can just go on. So even me, like recognizing, like, hold on,
Hmm.
something is happening. I need to honor that.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
is is growth.
Hmm.
Um,
It's okay. You're perfect. You don't have to be perfect to be perfect.
and and I think that is the part that like right now it's hitting. If we now relate it to dating specifically, I think that I do have this expectation that I need to be this quote unquote and healed person to be able to be partnered. Um and I know that logically
Mhm.
that's not how it works. I know logically that's not true. That's not something that if a client were to tell me that, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So I understand that that's not the reality. And still when that craving of like, oh, partnership comes about, and knowing that I don't have a partner yet, um then it's like, oh, then that must mean that I need to work harder. I need to grow more to be able to get to a place where like a partner will come. So I think that might be that's where like the struggle is right now, because I think in other relationships like friendships and um my siblings and my parents, I think I am like I have been able to like dial it back when it comes to like the explosions, or I am more securely attached with them, so I don't think I'm struggling in that area, but it's the part of like, okay, I need to be this version of myself to be able to attract like a I think I have this is what it is. This is what it is. I am scared shitless that I will attract an avoidant partner again, and that I'm gonna feel what I felt in my past relationship. I think that is why I think I'm like working so hard to be securely attached, so then that secure energy will attract the securely attached person so that I won't be hurt again, even though I know that that's not realistic.
Yes. I think you and I get where you're coming from, and it's completely normal, right? Because your divorce at the end of the day was a moment of a lot of pain and a moment of a lot of growth.
Yeah.
So then your body's telling you, "Hey, this is scary.
Yeah, we don't
Do
want to
all of
go
this,
there anymore.
do all of this to protect yourself." But remember what we talked about, right? Every time you're trying to do something to protect yourself, you're actually sabotaging what the fucking happened,
I'm done.
right? Because in this instance, as again, it's a lot of you wanting to be perfect or the other person to be perfect, and that's
That's
never
not
gonna happen.
possible. That's not a
That's never gonna
possibility.
happen.
No. Cool.
That's the same thing that my compadre taught me. His decision and why he got engaged and why he sees a future with this current fiance. I see that we can grow together. I see an ability to change, an ability to grow, an ability to discuss problems, an ability to change your mind, an ability to change our mind and grow. And that's all I need. So you don't need nobody to be perfect. I'm not, it's not a, like, take, not, I guess it could be my ego or not, but take me and Celia. We didn't have any of this. And our relationship is not
Man, I
perfect.
gotta wait 16 years.
No, no, no. But we put in the work from the beginning. We didn't know we were putting in the work. I already talked about it, right? How I
Yeah.
said I came with the specific ideas based on my parents' failures, and somehow she had her own thing that sparked it all. So we had the ability to grow and change. No, we didn't. We didn't have a lot of growth at the beginning for fucking sure, and we almost did the opposite and hurt each other. But we put the effort somehow to continue to grow. So you're not looking for somebody perfect. You shouldn't look for that. You should look for somebody that is conscious, like you're conscious, because that conscious, that awareness, that mindfulness is enough for you to bloom.
Mm,
That's enough. That's all you need,
okay.
right? And then more, I guess what I picked up is you're still wanting to depend or wanting to find somebody else, that not finding somebody else is causing you fucking pain. So maybe you still need to have awareness that you're forcing something and you want things to be this way. What did I tell you at the beginning of the shit before we even start recording? Attachment. You're attached to an idea, you're attached to a way certain things should be, or maybe like the shit that I think is common for it to be in a situation like you. Maybe you're subconsciously or not, you're having those thoughts of like, well, I'm getting older and my friends are married and my friends have kids and I don't have fucking kids and I don't have this shit and whatever. That could be triggering this idea of hurry up or find something or do this shit. So
No,
by
I think
comparison,
I don't
attachment
know
comes.
that that's it. Because I genuinely don't.
Well, because I picked it up in the way of like, well, what are you comparing yourself to?
What do you
Like,
mean?
what are you comparing yourself to, and what idea of things should be like this? Where did you get that from? At some point, I didn't have the thing to go in that tangent. I didn't follow that thought, but something came up in me that was like, well, what are you comparing yourself to? Like, why are you so? It seems like you have an attachment to an idea of how things should be, whether for yourself or for your partner. Because all of this, at the end of the day, is what I want to maybe tell you is like, as important as this is not the whole relationship, and you can have growth and understanding and shit besides the attachment stuff. There's other things, there's other common grounds, there's other shit. There's love. There's other a million other things, like a bunch of shit. This is just a piece of it. That yes, it's a huge piece and it makes a world of a difference. But if you wait till you're perfect to find somebody that's ideally perfect, you're literally setting yourself up for failure. It goes back to, you need to be happy with who you are and accept who you are and go from there, and just stop imposing in yourself and in your partner the idea that they have to be perfect for you to be able to do that, which um I think you do that with your friends too at times. You've done it with me, but you know how you said it, you said it before of like
Don't die.
it's fucking sickness again. As long as it works for us, then it'll be fine. You're having an expectation and a thing of the relationship still like working for you and doing something, and not and will still be, I'll still be here for you as long as it's valuable for us. And I think my
Oh,
cough
as
and
long
other
as it
shit,
aligns?
yeah, as long as it aligns and as long as the shit, that's still something there where you're still imposing some kind of value that you think should be happening within the relationship or some shit like that. I need more. I needed to come to mind again because, like I said, it came and I saw it, and I just for some reason continued to listen to you. For a good reason, I was from working in the validation part, but it stopped me from following the thought process. But I see your perfectionism still affecting you. Oh, that all or nothing that we were talking about.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I
That
agree.
it's not about that. You're never gonna reach it. And the moment that you feel like you reach it, I think you're a thing. And that's my tattoo on my leg. Constant improvement is not about perfection. It's about constant improvement. And as long as you're constantly improvement, you're on the right path. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
because you're enough. Because you are enough. I want to say this before. You're enough. Whoever you are as a person is enough. Though you don't have to change anything, you don't have to add anything, you don't have to subtract anything. Who you are as a person right now, it's enough for anybody. For whoever choose to see that within you, or whoever you get with, it's enough. You don't gotta do more. You don't gotta take less. You don't have to be perfect to be perfect. You're perfect as you are right now, and whatever is that. Anything else is just some other shit that you're choosing to do with your life. But accept that. Accept that you're enough. Accept that you're everything that needs to be right now, and you're perfect the way you are. So then you give yourself the freedom to go dating and show up as who you are. And then not say, oh, I'm not good enough because I'm not perfect, because I still struggle with shit. Therefore, I'm scared of the same thing happening. Okay, cool. Accept yourself so then you can accept somebody else. Love yourself so you can love somebody else. You're enough. You're enough. The way you are is perfectly perfect. And at least, like I tell people all the time, at least for me, you ain't gotta do shit. If you stop growing right now and you didn't give a fuck about mental health and you did anything, you're enough. And I'll accept you and love you and care for you just as much as if you decided to continue to grow. And you don't gotta do a fucking thing, right? Your existence is enough. Who you are as a person right now is enough. More than enough. So give yourself that same love. Because you're setting yourself up for failure and wanting to expect perfection from yourself and expect it from your partner, and you're never gonna have that. Accept it. Everything leads with that and ends with that. That's the beauty of the shit that I'm learning. Accept yourself.
Did not know what I was getting myself into for this episode.
You already know how it goes.
Motherfucker. Oh my god. Oh my god.
You're enough. You're enough, Norma. You're enough.
Don't add the name to it. That just makes it even more like, ah.
It's funny, right? Because we struggle with not being enough or being too much. Like first you would say you're doing too much, and then you're not being enough. So it's still a reminder of that balance of you are enough. That's where the middle line is. Like whenever you're saying you're not good enough, and when you're saying you're not enough, and when you're saying you're too much, that's not true in either direction.
Ironically, the being too much is the, I guess, like if we put it in the into values, like it's not like the part of not good enough. So the too muchness, then it's being inadequate.
Mhm. In either direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Is this
Mhm.
sense of like inadequacy. Um because I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I am a lot. I am a lot. I require a lot, and we've had this conversation before where like
As,
I do require a lot. I
as
am
we all
a
should be.
lot. Huh?
As we all should be. You are what we should be. We should require a lot. In a society that pretends to not need anything and everything is by myself and I got it and I'll figure it out and I do that, I like to remind you the same thing that I tell people all the time. It's not you. We failed you. Your parents failed you. Society failed you. Your friends failed you as you were growing up. Your classmates, your teachers, your society failed you. You've never been too much. You've always been the you've been the brave one that shows what you need in that shit.
I don't want to do that anymore. Can I just
No matter how much you hate the fucking word, you're always gonna get back to it again. I don't want to. Fuck your attachment. You're not accepting it. It's just such a simple thing. It's such a simple circle of the same shit.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to or not want to. Whether you want to or you want to is gonna shit's
I
gonna be.
want to be, and I know this is me not accepting it, but I need to verbalize it. I need to externalize it.
Mhm.
Um, I think I have toilet paper in my fucking eye now. I want to be a simple human. I want to require very little. Like I want ironically enough, which didn't work for me, right? But like I look at, I mean, I don't know if this has changed because I don't know how he lives now, but like the my ex-husband, how he would like wake up, go to work, come home and just like play video games and like do that over and over again. And he could do that. I'm almost betting money that that's still his lifestyle. Um and he's okay with that. So I'm like, why can't I just like be like that? Where like I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I cook, I go to sleep. Like why? Like sometimes I yearn that like ignorance part, like the simplicity. I don't I think I'm very very complex. And while that makes me a very beautiful person, sometimes I'm like I don't that's so heavy today.
Mhm.
Today I don't want to be complex. I just want to be simple. Like I look at my dog, I look at Chaya and I'm like, bitch. Like I wish it was just like that for me. But it's not. And and sometimes I do struggle with that cuz I don't know. Like I was having a conversation with a friend um and like one of the things that he was saying is um like the energy that I have. He called it heart. He's like you have a lot of heart. Um and I like that. Like I really really do like that about myself. Um but I don't know like some of the things I guess like where I have been able to like see it is because I do this run club. So the people there, they're so nice and they're so welcoming. They're like embrace me very well. Like I feel I love going on Wednesday runs because I feel so empowered. I feel so held. I feel so taken care of in that community. Um, like literally yesterday, I was late. I was late, and they're in a circle doing their warm ups, but they're like in the middle of the parking lot, so I had to cross them to park. Um, so as I'm like crossing, and it was such a beautiful moment, and I don't to them like they probably forgot about it, right? But like as I'm crossing the parking lot, and they're like, "We were just asking about you, Norma." Like I hear people saying my name and like the energy that came from me getting there and people being happy that I was there. Like just that love and that embracing feels so good that people see me that way. And I think the shadow part of that is because we're part of like polarities, right? Of like just so much of how I can be like that light and that have that heart and have this such bright energy, like the opposite of that is there too. and and I think it's always kind of like there in the back of my head of like, when are they going to like see through that? You know, like when are they going to see that I, not that I'm not that light, but just maybe, I don't even know what I'm saying. Yeah, I just don't want to be too much sometimes. I
Got you.
don't.
Ready? The ironic part is that the attachment of who you want to be and what you want to do is what doesn't allow you to be like your dog and just let shit be.
Say that one more time.
The irony is that you wanting to be a certain way is what's keeping you and not being like your dog because your dog just accepts the shit, or not even like your dog, the peace. You're so attached in wanting something, again, an outcome, a version of yourself that doesn't allow you that. Look, that feeling, that attachment took the joy out of you, or is taking the joy out of you, out of the beautiful moment that you felt with your friends. The attachment of wanting more love and wanting all that. Where are you living at, right? Pablo talk about reality. You're stealing your joy from yourself because you're saying this feels good, but I want more, and then I don't want to be too much or anything. So what feeling, what attachment are you giving yourself to the situation? Be happy that you got that little moment and enjoy the fuck out of it, regardless of what comes next or what doesn't come next in the shit. Live fully present in the moment and the happiness that it gave you. Don't then want to look for more or want shit to change or want shit to be a specific way. Shit is just is what it is. And you have to love the little moments and understand that there's good and bad, and then shit's gonna change and go good and bad and everything. But the this is why this is something new for me because I'm trying to take notes and do it. But this is why it's so hard because my mind flashes like this, and then I have to take a note of it. But by the time I take a note of it and I bring it back, it's not the same as it popped up in my head, right? Because it just makes sense as you were saying it to be your attachment for what life should be like, for who you should be like, for what is the thing. It's the cause of your suffering. You wanting shit to be like this, you wanting like wish that it was different, you wanting to not be too much or be enough or whatever. So where are you living? You just, once again, you just gotta be you who you are today, and that's it, and that's good enough, and then do your best and shit like that. But like, your suffering comes from wanting to be something that you're not, from life being to be something than what it's not. It is what it is. Shit is who you are. Life is what the thing. And the other thing, it makes me happy that you're bringing this because once again, my compadre said the same thing, and he keeps making this argument with me that it's more of a burden than a blessing to be who we are, me, you, and him, and how we are and how aware we are of shit. Why am I looking for more fucking healing, for more growth? Because I know this is a circle. You're in a you're causing yourself pain. That means I need to look for a solution. I need to look for higher understanding. I'm gonna go back and be like, oh, I wish I didn't have this fucking pain and everything was easy. Well, that's not reality. Continue to sit there with this feeling that you're feeling, and I'm not the best person to do this, but then look within yourself. What's causing it? What's the shit? We know because of our experience with Pablo how much work me and you need to do to get to what the fuck he's like. So then, to me, that's why he always makes me feel better because I'm like, oh, there's something I need to do. There's something I need to heal. There's something I need to work at. There's something wrong with me still in my approach to life and my understanding of life because peace, like the one he gives and the one he has, is possible. So I'm going to continue to look for an understanding of it. So then it's the same thing because now Yes, it's oversimplifying, and yes, it seems rude and it does the shit, but it's the attachment and the acceptance at the end of the day. You're attached to an idea of who you should be like, what it should be like, what this person should be like, or what my relationship should like, what my reactions, what my emotions should be like, all that stuff. And that's what keeps you from being like a tree that just fucking is there and just fucking existed and accepts the rain and accepts the cold and accepts the heat and does the shit and that's it. And it just continues to go along because
You
you're the
know,
one that's giving it meaning.
as you're saying that, and I'm like, okay, why do I have such a hard time with accepting things?
Mhm,
Because I think like in our conversations,
mhm,
we when it comes to like my struggles, like we're constantly we come back to this of I'm not accepting, I'm not accepting, I'm not accepting, I'm not accepting. So then right now I'm like thinking about it, like why do I have such a hard time accepting? And I think, and I don't know if there is a better way of going about it. And I think the reason why it's so hard for me is because I don't want to become too comfortable or too complacent. Because before, like one of the things that I would say is like, así soy. This is who I am. And I wasn't allowing growth because I needed to be accepted the way I was. So part of me thinks of like, okay, what would happen if I were to just accept it, right? Because like as you were talking, I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, and I'm like replaying this conversation in my head with what that I had in the bathroom with myself while I was in the shower. Of okay, if I'm because the dialogue, what actually what went down was, why am I still so pursuing? Like, why am I still pursuing people so much?
mhm.
I want to stop that because if I want to attract somebody that pursues me, then I have to stop pursuing so much. um so that's the part of like not accepting it, right? If the conversation would have been of like, why am I pursuing so much, and then I say like, well, that's where you're at, like it's okay. I'm also afraid that I become too complacent, too comfortable, and I don't continue to grow. So
You know what, the work towards the end goal and accept where you are right now. That's your solution. You're working to the end goal. You're never going to stop working to the end goal. But that doesn't mean you don't accept where you're at right now and whatever little or much you were able to do and the mistakes that you were not able to do at this moment. Have the goal of your secure attachment, and that's what you're always going to work towards. But that doesn't mean that you can be happy with who you are today and allow yourself to give yourself the love that you need, to accept that you made a mistake, to accept that you could have done better in this situation, to accept your flaws as who you are, but work at it, work towards the perfection, work towards the secure, ultimate secure attachment while giving yourself the love and just saying, this is who I am today. And it goes back. It's too early for me to put it in. I know my thing, and it's so fresh in my mind, but that's why I love it. But that's what goes back to what the fucking book that I'm reading says, right? It goes back to the same thing. Accept that shit. And you know what else is the key that I just remembered? And Pablo's fucking wisdom. Call the action from love, not from hatred, not from judgment, not from nothing else. That's another powerful thing for you to remember yourself. Your call to action coming from love, it's completely different than coming from hate or anger or judgment. So give yourself the like it's the same shit that it outlines it. Give yourself the insight to be able to see what it is that's causing your suffering and the shit, and have insight with love. And it literally says lead with the fucking love, not from judgment, not from shit. Give yourself the love right now and accept yourself for who you are right now. understanding that you're striving at the end of the day to be something better. But you can't reject yourself who you are right now and strive to something better. Is the thing like what made sense to me with the working out and the weight loss and the shit was like you can't heal a body that you don't love.
Mm.
If you're talking shit to yourself all the time, you're being negative, you are the own cause of your own fucking shit talking to yourself, your own judgmental that causes you for then to behave in a negative way and give it more food and give it more shit. So keep in mind that the ultimate goal is secure attachment and understand that in reality, this is who you are right now. But analyze yourself on a daily basis or whenever you make a mistake or whenever the issue comes and give yourself the love and be like, I fucked up or I'm not there yet, but it's okay. I'm still doesn't gain or lose any value from who I am. I am perfect the way I am right now. I'm perfect the way I am at this fucking moment. And I did my best. Then put in the work to be better tomorrow. How are you going to change tomorrow for the better thing? You said want at the beginning of your shit. I want to be this. I want to be that. The book teaches you that that's where all this shit comes from cravings. They call it cravings in the book. The source of all your suffering comes from craving, from wanting. If you learn not to want anything and you accept what it is, you have no suffering. Suffering comes from cravings, from wanting something. So learn not to want anything and just be who you are in life,
Cool.
right? It's easy, but everything, and
It's
it'll maybe I will become
simple, but it's not
fucking.
easy.
But, well, it's easy. Like I was telling Pablo, it's easy to for me to understand what the system is, but it's hard to apply it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like it's
Yeah,
simple,
it's
but it's
simple.
not
Yeah,
easy.
yeah. There you go. But it could even come where I become fucking annoying and always bringing this up. But I go back to Pablo, and that's what he's always done for me. Does he's been drilling this for me for fucking I don't know 20 fucking 10. The same shit. Acceptance, 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 acceptance. This you're not accepting this. Accept this. Why the fuck would anybody change themselves for you? Why can't you just do it for yourself? But it's a good sign. It goes back to what I told you a few weeks ago. It's a good sign that you're struggling. Struggle is good. So, like I told Celia yesterday in the group chat.
Struggle is good. Struggle is good.
Struggle, struggle means that you're growing.
Yep.
It means that something's bothering you, something's moving within you that you have to resolve. Now, if you say the struggle sucks and you stay in that mindset, stay in that shit, and then you don't continue to grow, guess what? That struggle's never gonna fucking go away because it's too bad, motherfucker. You already worked it out. You already worked it. Like you already brought it up. You already became conscious of this. And if you want to stop there, then stop there and don't look at the cause of your suffering again and that attachment or whatever it is that's bothering you that then leads you to peace. But struggle is good. It's a good sign. You're healing, you're growing. If you're
Yeah.
struggling, if you're in pain, if you're suffering, good. You're in the cycle of healing. Just keep
Hmm.
going.
Yeah, and I think like because this thought literally came today, right? Like it's not something that I have been dealing with for the past 3 weeks or something like that.
Mhm.
It literally came 15 minutes ago as I'm in the shower. Like, what's going on? And I do think that it's important for me to recognize that like I'm able to catch things faster. I'm becoming aware of like when I'm doing these things. So I'm able to sit with it and process it way faster than before. Um Whereas before I would sit with it and ruminate and just like overthink, and it was a painful process, and still like no solution would come from that.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, oh, this came up. Let's talk about it in an episode. And now I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at. Like, I want I need to look at the the progress that I've had. I need to look at where I'm at right now, and know that just who I've become, that tells me already that I'm not going to be stagnant, that I'm not going to just sit comfortably here and not continue to grow, because that's just not who I am anyway. So I don't know where I was going with that, but yes.
That's the path. You're living the path. You're living the path, and you're doing the practice. You're doing the right thing. You just
Oh,
have that mindfulness to know that you're in the right path. You're doing the right things.
I'm doing the right things for me.
Hmm. You're doing the right things. You're on the path of changing, and that just be kind to yourself as you're changing and growing. And I explained it. I don't know if this may help you or make sense to you. I explained it to my client yesterday of like, you had to build a house, which is like you had to build your mind and all the connections, and then your mind and all the brain connections and all the shit. You had to develop them regardless of whatever happened. You just had to put it together.
Hmm.
So it's like you put a house together that you never had put before. You don't know shit about building houses, and you had to build a house, and you built it with whatever limited thing or people told you that you should fucking use fucking bubble gum to make it. You did it, and you came out, and your house came out this way. And yes, some things are good, some things are bad, and now you're realizing you're receiving information that the bathroom shouldn't have been done like that. You're looking at why the pipes are always clogged and the sink is leaking and the shit like that, and then you're like, okay, you're giving me this information and telling me how to do it. Okay, you start tearing down the bathroom, and then you start building it back up.
Hmm.
And guess what? You still misaligned some of the tiles. It took you fucking 10 times as long to do it as somebody that's been done it for a while. So you're still gonna have mistakes. The tile, the paint's not gonna be perfect. Still gonna be shit and everything. But give yourself the grace to understand this is the first time you ever built a fucking bathroom yourself. Why would you allow not to have mistakes? Why
Thanks.
would you want perfection out of the first time? Nobody does that. And then guess what? The practice is you're gonna tear down the bathroom and build it back up a million fucking times, and each time is gonna be better.
Yeah.
And that's the cycle of ever changing and death and birth and everywhere and every single thing and every moment. Tear it down, build it back up, tear it down, build it back up, and it's gonna get better. It's okay to make mistakes. You never built a bathroom before. Celebrate the fact that you tore it down and you built it already, that you're working on it. Why does it have to be perfect for it to have value? It works. Your piss and your shit goes away, and although the water might be cold and fucking warm and the sink leaks and you have to have a cup on it, you still built your own bathroom, and there's a lot of beauty in that.
Hmm.
It's keeping you safe. It's keeping you warm. It keeps you clean. It does its job.
Yeah.
Why are we putting so much emphasis in the fact that the tiles are crooked and the paint doesn't do something and it took you so long or whatever? Celebrate the process that you had and give yourself the grace and the ability to not be perfect and still continue to grow. The next time you'll do a better job at it because now you learned. You're seeing the crooked tile.
Yeah. I do recognize them.
Hmm. It's amazing. I'm still amazed at how everything is put together so beautifully
Hmm.
and everything runs together and we are everything and everything is us.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was gonna say with the friend that I was telling you is I had a conversation with Celia like a week ago that I was like, hey, remember um this fool? His name is Ari. I was like, hey, Ari seems level headed like a motherfucker. Like Ari's 23 or 24, and he's wise beyond his fucking years. He's emotionally intelligent, like a lot more than anybody that I know at that age. Like, it's just interesting from that. Like, I'm gonna tell him that he has to thank his mom. So then yesterday, the conversation on mental health comes up, and then I'm like, you know what, Ari? This is gonna sound weird, and with no fucking no ill intention or anything, you gotta thank the shit out of your mom, because I don't know if you realize the level of emotional intelligence that you have, the level headedness that you have, the ability to do certain things that I don't see in some other people and shit like that. And I say your mom because you told me your parents were divorced, and like unless your dad was involved too. He's like, nah, my dad wasn't involved. He was always working. He was never available. And I was okay. So make sure you thank your mom, and like whenever I meet her, I'm gonna give her a hug and say thank you for giving and setting him up with all the correct tools and the shit. And and he goes, you know what's crazy that you're saying that? My mom has a degree in psychology. And I was like, I fucking knew it. Like I fucking knew it from the beginning that someone was responsible in your life for giving you these gifts and for teaching you the right way to do things, and giving you the right tools and the right, things for you to be emotionally intelligent and make your life more peaceful and more aware of shit and everything. And he was like, that's fucking crazy that you were able to tell that. I was like, yeah, I was able to think somebody gave it to him and it must have been his mom. And he's like, yeah, like my mom has a degree in psychology and some other shit. Um, So he's the first person I think that I know that could be a secure attachment or as close to a secure attachment without having to, you know, like without having to have worked for it. And he just was born more towards the middle, or like was guided more towards the middle from the beginning,
Mm.
where he's more like balanced and shit like that. So it was just cool, and it was like possible. And I'm always also talking about the acceptance. So I'm not full of shit on it, and I'm not saying that you said I'm full of shit with it. At some point, I accept that my my work that I make myself is only gonna allow me to grow to a certain level in my lifetime, and then I wonder what my daughters are going to achieve with having to have a head start, with having to have the that emotional intelligence from a much younger age, and where their life leads them and shit. And I'm like, well, you should once again accept where you're at and accept that you're doing what you can, and not be so judgmental about the fact that you're not doing more and more anything, because you're doing as much as you can on most days, and
Yeah.
that should be enough, and you already pushed them forward enough to do that. So that's what keeps me also balanced, to not be talking shit about myself. You're not spending time with them. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You're not that, and all that shit, and judging myself to be like, okay, I have the ability to accept it and understand. Even whatever you do today is your best for today. Right.
Maybe I'll have a little one day. I don't know.
Yeah. It's the pain. It's the pain. That's what
Good.
I will think about that. We'll talk about that for some other day. But that's been always my theory about not wanting kids. There's so much unbearable pain within yourself, and you're aware of the shit that you can cause and all that shit, and that's what keeps you from not most people from having kids.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. That was good. Thank you.
Hmm. You're welcome. If I didn't say you're welcome, Sally will be mad at me that I'm not accepting
A compliment?
of compliments and all this shit. It's like,
Mm.
accept it. You never accept it. Mindfulpodcastliving@gmail.com. Mindfulpodcastliving@gmail.com. If you have any feedback, you want to be a guest, you want to suggest a topic,
Come
you
get
want to
roasted by Steve.
come get roasted, yeah, let us know. Mindfulpodcastliving@gmail.com. Love you guys, and you gotta let go in order to grow, which means
Hmm.
not becoming attached. Peace.